Good day, this is Leadership TV News at noon. I am Cynthia Onwado. Catholic bishops of the Lagos Ecclesiastical Province, comprising Lagos Archdiocese, Ijebu Ode, and Abeokuta Dioceses, have said they would not bless same-sex marriage. The bishop's position was contained in Thursday's communique issued after January 26th plenary meeting in Lagos. This position is believed to contravene Pope Francis, who formerly permitted Catholic priests to bless same-sex unions, which had been argued to have violated the Catholic Church doctrine. Speaking through the communique signed by their chairman and secretary, Archbishop of Lagos and Bishop of Ijebu Ode, Most Rev Alfred Martins and Most Rev Francis Adesina, respectively, the bishops declared no to blessing of same-sex union. They said they were in total agreement with the position of the Catholic Bishop Conference of Nigeria and that of the Symposium of Episcopal Conferences of Africa at Madagascar concerning the blessing of homosexual unions or same-sex couples. Now, troops from 93 Battalion under 6th Brigade of the Nigerian Army have arrested the suspected notorious female kidnapper Janet Igohia while trying to pick up a ransom paid by relatives of an abducted victim in Taraba State. They also apprehended a notorious gun runner dealing in arms and ammunition and supplying them to criminals within the state and other parts of the country. The female suspect, it was learned, was married to a notorious criminal who is a second in command to late Ghana Tewase. Janet Igohia, 31, was arrested after picking up the sum of 1.5 million naira being ransom payment for an abducted victim at Chachangi area in Takum local government area of the state. To ensure absolute respect for national symbols, strengthen allegiance and fidelity to country, and to preserve Nigeria's ethics and defining character, President Bola Tinubu has directed the mandatory recitation of the national pledge after the national anthem at every official and public engagements. Speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony of the 3,112 housing unit renewed Hope City at Kasana, Abuja on Thursday, the president, in a statement via his spokesman, Ajurin Gilali, emphasized the imperative of respecting national values, promoting the nation's ideals, and abiding by its established norms. Now, the federal government on Thursday disagreed with organized labor on its threat to declare a nationwide strike in the next 14 days over alleged failure of the government to implement the Memorandum of Understanding reached with the Nigerian Labour Congress in October 2023. The Punch reports that Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, asked the union to exercise restraint and allow the government to address its grievances. However, Idris declined to comment on whether the government would seek a court injunction to stop the strike. The economic crisis being faced by ordinary Nigerians, occasioned by food insecurity, inflation, abject poverty, and insecurity, is distressing and calls for serious redress. His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar III, and the Jamaatul Nasir Islam (JNI) have told President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The Sultan also called on the federal government to urgently intervene over the difficulties Nigerians were passing through, saying that the call became necessary following the public lamentations in both conventional and social media, including street protests in Mina, Niger State, and Lokoja, Kogi states. Let's move on now. The chairman of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, retired Brigadier General Muhammad Marwa, have called on zonal, state, and area commanders of the agency to intensify efforts to apprehend drug barons still in hiding. News Agency of Nigeria reports that during a meeting with directors and commanding officers of the agency at its headquarters in Abuja, Mara emphasized the importance of dismantling drug cartels to sever the drug supply to individuals involved in criminal activities across the country. Mara made it clear that there is no room for underperformance in the NU and the LEA, and that leadership deficiencies at any level would lead to a review and possible change of leadership if necessary. Let's take some sports news now. Blue cards are set to be announced as part of Sin Bean trial in football. An announcement is expected on Friday to commence the introduction of the blue cards. According to a report from the Telegraph of UK on Thursday, the International Football Association Board, IFAB, has signed off on the use of a new card for the first time since yellow and red cards were introduced back in 1970. A blue card will see a player leave the pitch for 10 minutes before getting the chance to return to the game, and it will be reserved for certain offenses. The report states that blue cards will only be used for dissent or cynical fouls, which that stops a promising attack, but without necessarily being that dangerous. Finally, on sports now, the Super Eagles have mourned 4 Nigerians who died while watching their epic semi-final match with the Bafana Bafana of South Africa in the ongoing 2023 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON tournament in Cote d'Ivoire, declaring that they would leave the continental trophy in their honor and Nigeria. The captain of the national soccer team, Ahmad Musa, disclosed this while leading a solemn session by the Super Eagles players and officials to mourn the deceased on Thursday. On that note, we end the news here on Leadership TV. For more about news stories, you can log on to the website www.leadership.ng. Many thanks for watching.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast.